Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 215, my area of Deskpertise. Recorded on Friday. What do we got here?
It's like a Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday. Recorded on Thursday, September 8th, 2022 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Yes, as you can tell, we're not in our usual place, buddy.
Oh, no, we are not.
We are not. We are on the set of the WTF WTB show, which is Wine, Travel, and Food with Brett and Tina, which is launching next year. This happens to be at my house. Tyler is out here. We're actually getting ready to hook up with Josh Oliver and go do a little planning for 2023. So we're going to be doing that. We're looking forward to doing that. So we had to shoot the show today, and I said, why not just do it here? So it looks a little different. There it is.
That is why.
Yes. And if we're slow, Tyler came in with his lovely girlfriend, Lauren, and we stayed up till almost 1 o'clock in the morning, drinking several bottles of exceptionally good wine. And here we are. So let's see how we do, huh?
Bear with
Shall
us.
we? All right. With that, let's get to news and events. All righty, not too much going on in the world of Zoho right now. You have got as always, our CRM Zen show usually is every single Friday at 10 a.m. Occasionally we have things like this come up where we will be out of pocket tomorrow. We do it now. But if you're not familiar, if you head over to zenatta.com/events, that's where we keep track of all the events that Zoho puts on. And hopefully you can find what you're looking for there. We try to update this daily if we can. Right now, Zoholics is going on in London. And Wayne, our director of marketing, has been over there. He's been meeting with some people. I want to shout out to everybody over there who said fantastic things about us. We really appreciate all of the love that you've been showing us over there. And we'll have a little bit more about Zoholics UK because he has kind of given us a look at the keynote that was given yesterday. And then I think we'll have a blog a little later in the week about actually what was going on and some of the announcements that were made there as well. Other than that, I think the only thing we've got coming up is we're doing our webinar on
Zoho Learn.
Yeah, Zoho Learn. So we're going to do Zoho Learn, and that will be on September 20th. So look for that at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And with that, guys, let's get right on into the news. We will start off with the Zoho CRM Community Digest for August. It is a nice little roundup. If you're not familiar, the Zoho community is really much where we get all of our news. We do get news feeds, but I would say the bulk of our news comes from the community, Zoho community. And if you go in there, someone goes through and for the CRM team anyway, and finds all the good stuff that happened in the community over the entire month. And then they just report on it. So if you go there, you can basically find everything you're looking for in the community, and it's worth worth looking at. And usually they've got their MVPs. These are people that are always kind of posting and doing some good stuff. But it's good to check this out. And there's lots of good tips, lots of good tricks, and kudos to the team for kind of categorizing this together every month.
Yeah, totally. Good place to see just any little updates. Like here, they're reminding us that they added user fields to subforms. Mail merge is now on your tablets and web browsers. And then the nice thing about these is that there are always these little snippets and functions that you can basically just lift right out and put in your system. Right. So this one up at the top is a total of closed and open calls into your leads. Right. So you can just take that on in, drop it into your CRM, and you're off to the races. So always a good thing to check out if you are a user of the CRM.
Rock and roll. Alrighty, and moving on with the news, over on Zoho Backstage, they have done their August roundup as well. They don't call it a community digest. They just kind of round up what the heck happened in Backstage. Expo management, which was previously available for online and hybrid events, is now for physical events, which as the world moves back to physical, it's really good to see. And so they've got that going on as well. They've included accessibility options in the virtual space. Country field is now available as a quick field.
More lead sourcing as well, so you can actually source which leads are coming in based on the exhibitor. So definitely a product that Zoho uses internally, so it's always getting updates. You hit the nail on the head now that everything's going back to in-person. Some of these functionalities that they built really focusing on the virtual events, they're having to do kind of a couple tweaks and make sure that they still work for an in-person.
See, in-person. It's all back.
Look
it's
at
all
that.
back. I know.
Full circle.
Full circle. And Backstage is just, a tremendous application. If you're using Eventbrite or anything like that, and you've got a Zoho One subscription, I really suggest you check it out. They don't charge for tickets. That's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
So they don't take a piece of that pie if you're selling tickets. And they did a really good job with both the virtual events and the physical events and the hybrid events. The cool thing they've also done with the virtual is you're no longer dependent on Zoho Meeting, which sometimes we've talked about, might have some issues. You now can use Zoom. So if you're using Zoom, you've got that full integration there, and it is really a good application. So check that out as well. Alrighty, and then moving on with the news, we have got introducing My Area Ticket Filters in Help Center. This is for Zoho Desk. What's this about, Tyler?
So yeah, this is specifically for the help center. So it's kind of customer facing, right? So these aren't filters that your employees would be using in desk. These are actually filters that when your customer logs into their portal for desk, they can now do some filtering on the tickets that are shown there. So yeah, essentially they can create their own custom filters, a little bit of an expansion of what types of ticket history elements are shown there as well. You can communicate directly with your agents through this portal. So nice updates. The filtering is really nice. If you have large customers that are submitting tons and tons of tickets for you, good for them to be able to go and filter by bugs, feature requests, anything that they've submitted. And again, the nice thing with this is that anytime you can give something to your customer and let them do it, your support team does not have to do it now, right? If they can find their tickets more easily, they're less likely to email you and ask for a specific ticket.
Yeah. And they've also got some things. They are now providing option to switch between multiple customer accounts for customers associated with more than one account in a desk interface, like, Zphone, US.
That's actually a really big one.
That's huge. Yeah. That's huge as well. And now you have the ability to filter tickets using departments, channels, tickets, status, and priority. You have the options to add, edit, close, or reopen support tickets within the Help Center. Another big one, actually, in its own little way. So some good stuff. They're always making those enhancements to Zoho Desk. It's interesting. They're putting more stuff into it now.
Yeah, less plugins.
Less marketplace. Maybe they've been listening to us and they're saying, "No, that's just going straight on into the app." They're not doing that anymore. So it's good stuff there. All right, and moving on with the news, kind of a light news week. Zoho Inventory has their September 2022. Some changes here as well. If you're on the Ultimate plan, I guess they're introducing an Ultimate plan. So you now have the Ultimate plan for Zoho Inventory, which gets you what?
It's kind of odd. So this is similar to what they did with books. They put out those Ultra and Ultimate plans where essentially they're raising some of the limits on how many records you can push through books and inventory. And then they're bundling in Zoho Analytics if you don't already have it. So like if you're a Zoho One user, you probably don't need to move to Ultimate, but it's looking at targeting some of those bigger companies that might not want to use the entire Zoho suite, but really wants to hammer on Zoho Inventory.
Yeah. And there are some interesting, if you're a larger company, we put Zoho Books in our maybe category just because, the whole finance suite, the inventory is part of that. Just because sometimes they can't handle, there are certain things they can't do. We found out one this week or last week, which is around number of invoices. So they really severely limit. We have a client that's doing 40,000 invoices a month and going up to 60,000 invoices a month. And Zoho basically capped you in Zoho One at 25,000 invoices a year. So
not quite enough.
Not quite enough. You can get it turned on. They bumped it up. There is a fee for it, but you can, it's worth taking a look at. They're little things. I wonder if this Ultimate plan, which is the different features of the Elite plan, man, they keep renaming these things. Anyway, I don't know if that's going to increase some of those things as well.
And they've added a couple extra things here as well. So up above, the advanced inventory tracking. So inside of inventory, you can actually have it track based on serial numbers. But there's a little caveat that they're fixing here where if you have serial numbers turned on for an item, you cannot invoice for that item unless you've associated a serial number with the invoice. So like maybe you haven't received your new stock in and you don't know the serial numbers, you can't invoice for it until you receive it. So they're basically enabling an option where if you have serial number tracking on for an item, you can make it optional where someone could push through a transaction without assigning it. That's really big. Obviously, there's a little bit of risk because you are kind of allowing your team more flexibility on not serializing things. So you have to consider if this makes sense for you. But I've definitely had clients bump into this before where it's a huge pain point because they're taking pre-orders. They don't know what serial number you're going to get for, but they want to invoice and they can't unless they just put in, dummy numbers.
Also, you have the purchase receives module. Oh, this is interesting.
Yep.
Yes, you can view all purchase receives you created as a list in the new purchase receives module. I think we covered this already, right?
It was shipments. They added shipments before. Essentially, you had a package goes to a shipment and a bill goes to a receive, and now you can actually see all of your receives in one place.
Yeah, you can see them as in transit, and then you can edit your manual shipments, which is nice. And they've got improvements to UPS and United States Postal Service integrations. Are they doing that directly themselves?
Yep, they do those themselves. Nice. Generally we end up recommending EasyShip just because it's so much faster to get a label out the door.
Yeah.
But it is nice for them to build these themselves just because not everyone needs what EasyShip provides.
Yeah, these are very country specific kind of, although UPS is global, but very nice, very nice. All right, and with that, Tyler, we're going to the implementation of the week.
Let's
take it away.
Alrighty, so this is one that we get asked for this type of work a lot. This is just a particularly large-scale implementation of this build. So essentially a complete pay-per-click advertising dashboard that we built via CRM and Zoho Analytics. So obviously pay-per-click marketing and advertising can be a super effective way to increase your lead flow and target your marketing very specifically at leads that you think might be a good fit for the product or service that you provide. But there's a big risk with pay-per-click that it can be a big money sink. And if you're not properly tracking your actual revenue that you're getting from leads from any of these different sources, you can find yourselves throwing a bunch of money down the drain on advertising that isn't actually resulting in any money coming in. A big challenge with this is that, for this client's case, they were advertising through Facebook as well as Google on a pay-per-click basis. And they kind of house all of that data and they kick over the data to the CRM just when your lead converts. But the challenge is that what you actually need to be able to do is then marry that lead going through to a deal, the revenue from that deal back to those original sources. So what we do here is essentially pull in Google data as well as Facebook data into Zoho Analytics. The good news is they're formatted very similarly, so you can kind of just mush them together, right? They go by campaign and ad group versus campaign and ad set, but it's the same thing. And then we can just join in all of the closed deals against those particular lead sources that they come in with. And you can get some really, really specific return on ad spend reporting.
So this is nice because there is a standard integration that comes with CRM where you can pull that data in, but it doesn't
work.
It kind of does. It's just, but you're never really going to get what you're looking for.
The challenge is that what Google considers a conversion is essentially the filling of a form.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you made any money on that lead, right? Someone could fill out a form on our site and ask for a password reset. And sure, I'm going to help them do it. I'm going to send them some info, but it's not revenue. But it would be a Google conversion.
Right.
So
you basically have to track every single deal manually in your own way. You have to know that it came from there, right to that, update the campaign associated with the deal. Then you can kind of report on it, but this is much cleaner.
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing is that the standard one does it based on a campaign basis, but a lot of best practices for marketing attribution are more on a touch basis. So you don't want your campaign to be above your deal. You want your touch to be below it. So you can track those multiple touches over time.
All right. Good job on that one. And with that, let's head over to Club Zenatta and look at our code share of the week. This one is from Greg Belknap, who is heads up our entire development team over here at Zenatta. And he has done one on getting stock information from Zoho inventory items via Deluge. What's he got going on here, Tyler?
Yeah, so this is kind of a nice one here. It's really a quick copy paste that you could do to essentially pull in any of your stock values. So essentially, the reason you might want stock values inside of a script is, let's say, when a order comes in from Shopify and it's paid, you want to automatically make a package for all the items. Well, if any of those items are out of stock, Zoho's going to throw an error back at you. And so you need to actually check if all of these have available stock before you try an automated process like that. So now basically what he's walking through here is the way to pull out those specific values in your Deluge code. This one's helpful because the way they name them is not clear. Like they call them accounting and physical, but then in the Deluge, it's just stock and actual stock, or actual is physical. So a quick one here that you can kind of just drop right into your system if you are writing a script that needs it. But it'll definitely save you some time kind of reading through the response and trying to pick out what you need.
Very slick. Man. All right. And if you don't know, Club Zenatta is our community forum. It is where we basically have built an area very similar to the Zoho community, where we get together. We're answering questions in here on a daily basis. We have our general discussion forum, where you basically can ask any questions, and just as the whole community is getting together kind of talking about those kind of things. We also have our CRM Zen Show forum where you can ask us questions, and those questions get answered on this show at the end of the show. Participation has just been crazy lately. Really, really happy with everybody kind of joining, and it's free, so it doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is just kind of head over to club.zenatta.com and sign up. Give us your email address, and we will let you in. Looks like we are up to 248 members.
448, actually.
I'm sorry, 448. We're getting close, so it's rapidly going up. We've got a whole new interface. We're working on this. We've been making a ton of changes to us. Bear with us. We're working on some fonts, doing some stuff, but I love this new interface.
Oh yeah, it's much better.
1,000 times better.
It's really, really clean.
Absolutely. And again, we've also got all of the Zenatta blogs are here. We also keep track of the news. So all the news we cover on this show. In fact, we are also covering here. So it's all in real time. We basically, as we find it, we post it here, and then we're just going to talk about it on the show. Of course, it does end up in our newsletter. So if you want to kind of keep up with us in real time, you kind of head over to club.zenatta.com and join us there. We'd love to have you be part of our community. And with that, let's head on over to our read of the week. All right, it's 10 ways to monetize a podcast. As you know, we have launched Podcaster Zen, which is a show that does the production like you're seeing here. Matter of fact, Podcaster Zen is going to be doing the new WTF WTB show when we launch that. You can go to WTFWTB.com, by the way. The website's up. Take a look what's going on there. If you're into wine, travel, and food, it's the place to go. But how do you monetize these podcasts? Most people, you put them up, you're going to put them on YouTube. In order to get monetized on YouTube, you need to have 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, you shouldn't plan on YouTube AdSense being your monetization.
No.
It's nothing, and you can't track it, and you can't audit it. Yeah. You just get what you get and write it off. It's not going to be what you actually base your podcast
It's
on.
Completely insane. There's no way to measure it. I mean, you have to have 4,000 hours a year of watch time and 1,000 users. If you had that, you might get $50 throughout the whole year. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get much money at all. We have considerably more than that by factors like 100. And there's, as far as the watch time, it's just ridiculous the amount of watch time people do it. But you can't really, if you were really going to make a living on a podcast, don't think like Tyler said. It's just ridiculous because we have watched our views and our impressions and the watch time and everything it's basically a freaking hockey stick going up, and the revenue is just flat or dips or goes. You have no idea. Of course, we don't depend on that, but a lot of people, if you're not going to do that. So find sponsors, become a sponsor of another podcast, join an advertising network. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do here. And it's HubSpot, so they're kind of stepping you through it in a fairly good way. So if you do have a podcast and you're looking to monetize it, here's some really good tips on doing just that. And with that, let's hear a little bit about Podcaster. All right, guys. And with that, let's head over to see what's new on Zenatta. I have no idea what that transition looked like. We're not seeing anything here. We're flying blind. We just basically decided an hour ago to set some stuff up. So what you guys are seeing, we don't see right now. Hopefully that went well. Anyway, like we said, Wayne is over at Zoholics in London right now. And he basically did a nice little write-up here. It needs a little bit of editing, but it basically covering Sridhar Ingar's opening speech, where he went through a tale of two cities. It's open kind of dark. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Going on there. It was the age of wisdom, age of foolishness, season of light, season of darkness, that whole thing. He's tying it together to pandemic, the market bubble, inflation, the great resignation, food shortages, Ukraine, all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of interesting if you read this. It was this year, I think it was this year or last year, Zoho turned 25. Mm-hmm. And so they did this whole look back on 25 years. He basically did this, but now he's doing a look forward for the next 25 years. So evidently Wayne was impressed. And so it's a little write-up on that and worth taking a look at if you are interested in such things. And if you don't know, if you are, go over to Zenatta.com. All of our blogs are there, all the notes on the CRM Zen Show. I think the thing that people really spend the most time when they go to our website is they go to our resource library. And on our resource library, it is where we track every single application. We tell you whether or not we think you should use it. Guaranteed, it's a winner. You have no reservations. Grab the app, use it. You're going to love it. Maybe you should use it. There might be some things about it. It's near best in class. It's going to work for 70-80% of the companies out there. But
you might just be missing that one thing that you need.
That one thing, Zoho Books, 25,000 invoices a year. You might want to consider some stuff, right? So we track all of that. And then the ones that are just not quite yet, Zoho's still working on them. And once they get up there, we'll do that. And if you click through on any of these icons that you see here, all of the assets that we put together, and it's a lot. We produce more content than anybody, even Zoho, on some given weeks as it relates to their products and services. So we break it all down. We aggregate it for everything we've done on each application, all of our videos, all of our articles, all of our PDF guides. They all live right here. So head over to Zenatta.com and just have fun and geek out on Zoho. All right. And with that, let's get into our pick of the week. All right, Dataholics in the chat room. Again, Wayne is over right now at Zoholics in UK, and bumped into the team over there from Cloud Sauce and this Dataholics for Zoho CRM, and they said, "Hey, we've got a cool product. We'd love it if you could, talk about it on your show." And we said, "Sure, let's do it." But instead of Tyler and I telling you about it, let's hear it from them.
Are you looking for a solution to keep your CRM up to date? No worries, because Dataholics is here. Dataholics is an app extension for your Zoho CRM made by Zoho users for Zoho users. Turn your unreliable Zoho CRM data into current, accurate and reliable data without manual data entry with Dataholics. How does Dataholics work? Searches numerous databases and websites for relevant data and pushes it automatically into your CRM records with Dataholics, like international street addresses including what 3 words, email, social media and job titles for all leads and contacts, company insights for leads and accounts. What perks will you get? Boost sales, make better decisions, cleanse bad data, banish missing fields, level up customer service. So if you want to focus on your day job instead of filling in database fields all day, try Dataholics free today and start automating data entry with ease.
Fantastic. So, this looks like a fantastic app. Actually played with it a little bit. I like it a lot. It does. Mm-hmm. It's really slick. You can't, this got 4 or 5-star reviews. That's a lot over in the marketplace. Yeah. More people need to review
it's
things.
Pretty new as well. It looks like it was published just back in June of this year, so it's not even been out for that long.
Yeah. So really good stuff here. Head on over to the marketplace, search for Dataholics, search for Cloud Sauce, check out this application. the marketplace is a hot mess. We talk about it all the time. So anytime you come across an application that's well built,
yeah,
is well built and does it, we want to give kudos to those people. And great job to the team over at Cloud Sauce and Dataholics for Zoho CRM. All right, and with that, let's get to our tip of the week. Josh Oliver. Look at the hair on Josh.
Wow. That is a coif. I love it.
He is working it there. Josh is continuing his creator series. This one is on how to link Zoho creator forms to Zoho CRM. And he has put together what looks like a almost 11-minute video on how to do such.
Yeah, and this is an awesome topic. A lot of the times we find ourselves using Creator kind of as an extension of CRM, right? You have your kind of primary workflow in CRM, but maybe you have these contractors who need to submit time against a job or something like that. Well, by doing things following this method, you don't need to duplicate your data into Zoho Creator. You just reference the CRM from directly within your Creator app, and you can push and pull data just on an as-needed basis. So definitely worth taking a look at. If you're building a creator app and you have any plan of touching the CRM with that, go ahead and watch this one because it'll probably save you some pain and suffering.
Yeah. Good stuff. And I love this. You know, there's really not a lot of stuff out there on Creator. I mean, he's done that, what is it, 3 or 4 part series that he did that 4-part series. I mean, the stuff he's doing here, and Creator's so powerful. And there's just so much going on with it. It's really, really cool stuff. If you don't know, if you've been living, under a rock when you watch this show, our YouTube channel, it's where we do everything. I mean, we just basically try to put out as much content as we can around Zoho and only Zoho. We're up to 6,360 subscribers. We're getting close to 7,000. Probably hit it, I guess, if I look at probably end of
late October.
Late October, we'll hit it. But we're putting out 2-3 pieces of content a week. I mean, if you look at this week alone, we did Gravity Forums. That was 7 days ago. And then 5 days ago was this show. And then 2 days ago was CRM integration sync with Zoho campaigns, then email workflows and campaigns. And now this, we're constantly doing it. We've got the whole team participating now, which is really, really good. It's so great to see the senior consultants, the developers, everybody kind of getting involved and putting out this. And kudos to Freddie, who's producing this stuff. It is fun for us to do, and we're glad you guys enjoy it. So thanks a lot. And with that, Tyler, let's get to some Q&A.
Let's do it.
Now, I might have mentioned that we were up extremely late last night, pillaging my cellar back here. So we have not read these questions. So we're going to read them for the first time now, and let's see how good we really are. All right. Sergio, after watching the Zoho Learn Creating Spaces and Manuals tutorial 2021, said, "Hi, what's the difference between knowledge versus spaces?"
So spaces are essentially like your top level of Zoho Learn, right? So you might create a space for, let's say, CRM. And then your knowledge is where you're actually putting in like your articles and your guides and all of those various things that kind of take part in that space.
Spaces is a folder.
Yeah,
knowledge
essentially.
is the stuff that kind of goes in.
Yeah. The tricky thing with Learn is that the UI is backwards, where you would imagine that spaces would be on the far left, but it's on the far right. And that threw me for a loop when I started playing with the app, because you kind of think like top to bottom in the hierarchy would be left to right, but it's kind of reversed from what you would expect.
Alrighty, next question. We're 1 for 1. I'm liking that. Kimberly Lee, after watching Zoho Learn courses and quizzes, wow, Google must have been recommending that or something this week. Is there any likelihood that features will be added to Zoho Learn? I'm creating a course and added a list. I wanted to have the list display in 2 columns, but that doesn't seem to be an option. I was also hoping to drag and drop images and adjust their placement on the page, but I don't see that is something we could do either. It just seems everything gets dropped in a line. So what she's talking about here is, in part of Zoho Learn, it doesn't have to be videos. You actually can create documents that people are going to read. So the document editor, I thought it was just Zoho Writer.
It's a little more limited, like especially when you're adding a particular course. Like it doesn't really give you like a full doc editor view where you can kind of add columns and dynamically drop in images. So yeah, I can really like the core of the question, like, is the likelihood that they're going to continue adding features? Absolutely. Zoho Learn is what, about 6 months, 9 months old?
Yeah, something like that. Very young.
Yeah, it came out of the door with like a lot of the core features that you'd want in an LMS. Some of the look and feel and like deep customization isn't quite there yet. But yeah, it's definitely an application that I would expect they're going to continue to work on and expand.
Believe it or not, hey, I got Freddie over here. Believe it or not, I've actually used Google Docs as a workaround. So I'll design everything in Google Docs, and then I just copy the whole thing and paste it right into the Learn article I'm making, and all the editor things I was doing, they all transfer over seamlessly. It's actually really cool.
Oh, that's a cheat code. So maybe you can really take a look at that. Freddie chiming in with the save. You love it.
I like that. Yeah, I was going to suggest you could just do a link to an external document in there saying, hey, here's it is, and have it formatted the way you want it. But that's much better. So I guess, Freddie, you're just doing a straight up copy and paste, not getting HTML?
Yeah, I just get it all done inside of Google Docs and then copy and paste. I assume you could probably do the same thing in Zoho Writer. You just design the whole thing that you want it to look. You can use tables, you can hide the borders of the tables, all that stuff. And then once you're done editing, just copy it, paste it right in.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's look at that next question. All right, Steve Slothhammer says, sorry, Steve. After watching the How to Integrate QuickBooks with Zoho CRM tutorial 2022, thanks for the video. Could you also just pull the invoices by email instead of custom ID in a related list? That would eliminate the step of importing the customer ID.
Yeah, you totally can. It's always like a best practice to use an ID if you have it readily available. But if you know that like your data in QuickBooks and CRM is, you don't have duplicates, every email is unique and things like that, then you shouldn't have much of an issue using an email for the same process. Because essentially we're just reaching into QuickBooks and using whatever field from the contact to decide what shows up.
Yeah. All righty. Then Muhammad, after watching the Zoho CRM Calendly integration through Zoho Flow 2020 video, that might be a bit outdated. So which part of the flow that made you update the open activities section? So which part of the flow? Do you know what he's asking?
Such an old video. It would depend on the flow itself. So you can write the Calendly meeting directly to like the Zoho CRM like open activities meetings section. What we oftentimes do though is like if Calendly is integrated with like your Google Calendar, let's say, we'll just sync the Google Calendar with the Zoho CRM calendar, and then those meetings just come in directly to open activities. Yeah. So most of the time we don't hard code the creation of the meeting because we know that calendar sync is going to do it anyways.
All right, next question. All right, Jason or John asks, after watching the Zoho Click product overview 2020, do we need to do another one on Click?
I think so, yeah.
Have we not done one since 2020?
I don't think so.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Let's add that to the list. Hey, I'm using Zoho Click app in work with remote work. Does it have a screenshot over my computer?
No, it can't see your screen with remote work. It does do that weird thing where it can turn your camera on.
Right.
So you can see that, but it's not doing any screen capture. Like you can, right? You could surely share your screen through Click. And so those permissions are enabled, but it's not running it in the background.
Yeah. So you can share it, but if you're watching porn, no one's going to see it. I'm sure that's not what you were asking, but if you were, you're safe. Renell, after watching the Zoho Forms, Everything You Need to Know 2022, says, product question. Do you know of any plans to make forms behave more like Typeform? I don't know of anything, but I'd say I love Typeform. Mm-hmm. It is so slick. If you're not familiar, Typeform kind of takes over your screen and, basically it gives you a single question you answer and it kind of flows in, and it's got some really cool animations that go on the web page. You can break it into pages. I mean, you can have Zoho Form into pages.
Yeah, it's not quite that same.
No, because you have to go next. Not like as soon as you finish the question, it's going to go to it. So no, Renell, I don't know of any. I would love to see that, though. I mean, the more they are constantly working on Zoho Forms, it is a heck of a lot prettier than it ever was before. There's so much more you can do with it now. I wouldn't be surprised to see that change. But Zoho Forms team, if you're listening, listen to Renell there. Change that. All right, and then George, smiley face, after watching the Zoho Click, again, full product tutorial 2020,
What is the algorithm doing this
Google's
week? It is
just
just
pushing
showing
up
all of
these
our old videos.
crazy videos. I know. Can managers read direct messages between employees? No, you cannot. I wish you could. No, you can't. Brian Sharp says, this is from Club Z. Is there a way to view and then edit an email that's been scheduled to go out in a workflow before it gets sent? I realize that I can edit the email template. I'm talking about real time as it comes up as due and is about to be sent to that particular client.
Now, you can't edit the automated workflow emails. One workaround, Brian, if they really need to be edited, is replace it with a task to send the email. And then they can just send out the template with any updates, like if they do need to review it. But it's not like putting it into any queue of like, hey, these automated emails are going to go out, make any final adjustments. It's just going to send the template.
All right, also from Club Z, Beat Z asks, on the Zenatta resource page, sales inbox used to have a bad rating. Now it did not even get a rating anymore. What is the disadvantage of the sales inbox? I don't think it's there, right?
I think
it's not on the page.
It's all but abandoned.
Yeah, so they haven't done anything to it, Beat Z, since, I don't know, since I've been doing Zoho.
Yeah, it's just kind of sat there.
I'd say for the last 6, 7, 8 years, it's just nothing since release, basically. If you're unfamiliar, Sales Inbox, really cool application. It has the potential to be cool. It's part of CRM. It basically, when you go to read your emails, it's like, hey, here's the people that are in my CRM. Here's the people that I've got a deal working with right now. Here's the people that are not in my CRM. Here are the vendors. And it seems like a fantastic way to look at your inbox. But it just doesn't really work all that well.
Yeah. It was always missing certain key features, like being able to add things to the CRM through it. Yeah. And, I guess, honestly, I don't really look at it as much of a separate app. It's kind of like part of CRM. So it's really the only place you can use it. Like you couldn't spin up a sales inbox account separate from CRM. So it's almost like a piece of functionality nested within that application.
Yeah, when you go to manage your email out of the IMAP, it's just not, it's like it's not real time. There's just all kinds of issues. It pulls stuff up from time immemorial. I mean, the first time you launch it, it's almost impossible to get a handle on it because you've got thousands and thousands of emails. You don't really have bulk select and delete. Anyway, it could be a great app. Zoho, we talked about it. It seems like once a year we get asked about this, and we're kind of like, hey, fix it because it's got potential. RBDB, hello, Rena, is asking, can someone clarify the pricing structure for Zoho Learn for Me? I'm not sure what is meant by express versus professional pricing versus being included in the bundles. Thanks. I don't know about the Zoho Learn pricing.
Yeah, I only ever touch it when it's part of Zoho One, I think. I don't know if anyone's ever spun it up. At least any of our clients have spun it up separately from Zoho One.
Yeah, I don't think so. Rena, we will look into it and get back to you directly on that.
Yeah, we can just drop a response in Club Zen for you.
Yeah, or just shoot you an email. So since you are a client. So we can take care of that, get that question answered for you. All right. Well, that is it. Tyler and I are off to Temecula wine country. It should be good. Looking forward to that. As always, guys, if you want to get a hold of Tyler or myself or Josh or anybody in the Zenatta, just head over to zenatta.com and fill out the form, and you'll get on our calendar. And if you'd like to ask us a question, participate in our community, please head over to club.zenatta.com.
And on our website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Fantastic. I feel like we should say cheers, right? Have wine glasses.
Water in our glasses.
Something. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.